Yeah.
an intergovernmental minister now, newly created position within the Tory party, Boris Johnson's government particularly. He appeared walking on near Victoria Station, suited and booted, 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon, 2 weeks ago, in central London, carrying some what appeared to be shopping and his briefcase.
Is this where he allegedly got accosted?
Accosted, correct, yes,
Right,
allegedly.
okay.
I've seen the video. It was more of a protestation rather than accostation.
Right.
So what we observe, singularly, within 48 hours, Suella Braverman is sacked Monday morning.
Good riddance?
Good riddance, indeed. Let's just continue. So he decided it. A week later, I see a video from some eminent British politicians and journalists who have actually come out, amazingly, and said that there are only a select couple of individuals who actually decide who comes into power, how long they serve, and for what duration of time that they would be enacting certain policies. Now listen to say that it's going to make perfect sense what I'm about to say. Rishi Sunak, 5'6", all of him, elected Prime Minister, elected leader of the Tory party. After, this is my understanding, this is where I'm going to interlock Zionism with our Quranic narrative as well. There's a verse in the Quran, Surah 5 verse 82, which says there's the strongest in hatred to the Zionist Jews and to the, I'll get that right. The strongest in enmity to the Zionists, which in those days were the Jews, and will you find those who are the pagans as well. So Zionism and paganism have this interlinkage. They're the ones who hate the people who are of a single monotheistic understanding the most. This is in the Quran. So then the Quran further said, the nearest in belief and love will you find those who say we are Christian. Amongst them there are priests and monks, and they are not arrogant. That's in the Quran, Surah 5 verse 82. Now, how I've harmonised what I'm about to say, I'm about to interlock it together. I hope it'll make coherent sense as well. So, what we're observing is Rishi Sunak, he was defeated in the Tory party leadership before Liz Truss became the Prime Minister for an incredible 6-7 week period. Then she was ousted because a certain individual knew full well that right-wing, toffee-minded Tories would never vote for an
Indian man. That's a theory.
This is
okay. Well, the official. If I asked most people,
yes,
the official story as to why Liz Truss only lasted a week, what answer do you think most people would give, including most of the press? Really?
Yeah.
That she delivered a catastrophic mini budget.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's the official story, and it seems to tally with a lot of facts. So you can't just discount that.
So Rishi Sunak was the individual, the precursor to her arrival as Chancellor, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Actually, was he?
So this is okay. So I'll answer your question.
I'm not sure on that.
So I'll hopefully answer your question.
Sorry. Yeah.
So he dug the hole, incorporated Michael Gove as well, and they summarily blamed all this on Liz Truss. This is all the instigation of Michael Gove, and I can show it to you as well. How has he done it? Why is he doing it? It's based upon what I've just recited from the Quran, 5 verse 82, where the Zionist Jews and the pagans are together in hatred towards you who believe the one supreme God. So what we're observing is he knew full well that he's created this.
So are you now trying to make the political developments of the moment sink in with Quranic prophecy?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, to me I find that very problematic in any religion.
Just give me a few moments.
Fine.
So here we have Rishi Sunak. Then knew full well that the Tory right-wing minded individuals would never vote for an Indian man as Prime Minister.
Well, we did.
Wouldn't Winston Churchill turning his grave? Wasn't he the same individual when Mahatma Gandhi came into Parliament in the 30s and said the following? Well, India. Let me just make my point.
Hang on, hold it. With respect,
yes,
you have now spoken rather a long time. Okay,
I
get that you do, but you've got to let me chip in very occasionally, particularly if I don't take note of certain things you say. There'll be too big a list. When you say things like he knew he wouldn't get in power, I would say all empirical evidence to the contrary, and I'm hot on empirical evidence. The empirical evidence is he is in power. So your assertion that he knew he wouldn't seems to me to be based on, you might be right, maybe it's crazy that he jumped the shark and landed there. But I think empirically, I didn't particularly doubt that we could have somebody who was non-Caucasian. I have no problem with that at all. And the fact you're amazed.
My friend, the indigenous masses, if they were to put an election now, note when they squared off to each other, Sunak and Truss.
Yeah.
Who came out on top?
Sunak.
When Sunak and Truss were contesting the Tory leadership.
Oh, sorry, fine. Yeah, fine.
So Truss came out.
Sorry, I thought now. Yeah, sorry.
That's fine. Truss came out on top.
Yeah.
Because indemnicably they could not tolerate a little Indian man. So in order to
You may be right. What's the payout in there? What's the constructive?
If you give me an opportunity to build my case, articulate it, understand it, then imply it, and then try to knock it down, which I don't believe you'll be able to. Okay, so then they realised, Liz Truss served 7 weeks. You made a claim that it was due to her economic policies. However, these were prevaricated by our good fellow, Rishi Sunak, her predecessor as a chancellor. So she was left in the mire with 7 weeks, given the blame, ousted after 7 weeks, and hey presto, you got Rishi Sunak who's become Prime Minister, unelected.
The fact that you didn't seem aware that the official story, which seems highly cogent, is that she delivered a catastrophic mini budget that economists across the scale from the left to the right all said was disastrous. Not all of them with uniformity, but most of them on a broad scale all went, this is a nightmare, and the market dipped immediately. There's empirical evidence the market dipped. The fact that you're not factoring that possibility into your equation instantly makes me feel very suspect of your analysis.
I've already explained that to you by stating to you that who was the precursor to her arrival.
Hang on, no, I asked you if...
your accusation is she gave a terrible budget in which the economic system was being compromised.
No, my assertion is that there was a general reaction to her budget that it was terrible. Maybe it was the best budget ever and we're all stupid, but the market reaction and the media reaction to that budget was seen to be responsible for her downfall. And the fact that when I asked you, what do you think the mainstream reason was perceived to be, and you went, I don't know,
no, but
it does not add credibility.
What I'm trying to show to you
Yes.
is that Rishi Sunak was the Chancellor before her.
Okay, if you say so, I'm terribly... No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I genuinely am going, do I know this for a fact?
Let me make my broad analysis, and then you can and just try to incorporate very straightforward points.
Yeah.
But essentially it requires a little explanation because you're unfamiliar with, for example, the Islamic concept of which I'm trying to amalgamate the point together. So it says that the strongest in hatred to the believers, which is in this case the Muslims, will you find the Zionist Jews and the pagans. Pagans meaning idolaters, people who don't really believe in the singularity of God. So what they've done, essentially speaking, is Michael Gove, who's the intergovernmental minister, a specially designated position formulated by Boris Johnson in his government. There was no such thing as intergovernmental. So he acts as the interlocutor, or he acts as the vicegerent or the conduit between central government and local government in terms of their policies, you see. So what he does, he arbitrates and decides who has what policy and who does not have what policy. Let me explain. And this is augmented by evidence that I've got over here. There are ladies within the Tory party who've clearly stated, and I can show you off the record after we've perhaps finished filming, that he is the one who decides who comes into power, how long they serve, along with Douglas Smith as well. She mentioned him as well. Michael Gove.
I find your level of certainty about things that I know you can't be party to. It's not just you, anybody, when they talk with certain levels of certainty, my sceptical instincts go, hang on a minute, look for the counter-argument.
Okay, fine. So let's observe what's happening in the United States currently. Vivek Ramaswamy.
Hang on, can you synthesize, can you distill your thesis about the UK politics? It seems to me that you're saying that something which is happening right now in UK politics is the fruition of an Islamic prophecy to do with the alliance of Zionists and idolaters, and that's your thesis.
Yes. So I'm showing to you. I'm showing to you how I'm trying to show or formulate the picture for you
Okay, I hear the narrative, and I have a lot of problems with it.
Okay, fine, but let me just, I don't believe I've even made a concrete argument this year. I'm just trying to give you a little base to what is happening, so that the average indigenous Englishman who may watch this and thinking,
Can I in 30
the Home Secretary,
excuse me? Can I in 30 seconds tell you what I normally go from foundational positions. My foundational problems with what you said are twofold. Yeah. Three things.
Yes.
Number one, the certainty level. Doesn't mean you're wrong, maybe you're right, but levels of certainty, I gauge for that. Number two, the classifying everybody into groups. All Zionists are this, all idolaters are that, whereas I think in reality you're dealing with individuals, and I think that way of thinking is destructive on all sides. It's not an anti-Muslim thing, it's a general thing.
Did you say destructive?
Destructive. I think you need to realise that the individual building block of reality is each individual soul, and try and analyse reality that way. And when you start going, all Israelis are this, or all Gazans are that, or all Russians are this.
I noticed I did distinguish. When I made my hypothesis from Surah 5 verse 82, I didn't stipulate all Jews.
Okay, well, you said Zionists, and idolaters, and those are very big blocks of individuals to be wheeling around. I'd like it broken down more individualized.
So Zionism are those entities, as someone like Michael Gove, he's a great proponent of Zionism, an open Zionist.
Okay.
So this is and we're seeing the fruitions of that and the destruction of what is occurring in Palestine currently. Okay. But let me just I'll
give you my third reaction, and you can continue. Okay. Yeah. I gave two general points, which I hopefully you think were moderately reasonable. Yeah. My third one is, I don't happen to believe in prophecy anyway, and even if prophecy is real, and I can't discount it, I think having a starting position which assumes it is, rather than being objective and impartial when you look at the data, is liable to create a more skewed perspective.
Okay. So just to formulate his position. In the US currently, Vivek Ramaswamy, a Republican Party candidate, who is looking to get into power at the next American general election. And here you heard it first, if he doesn't succeed this time, he's going to be the next US Prime Minister, maybe in another 2 terms.
Okay.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Okay.
He's Indian by nationality.
Is he any good? My question is he any good?
Let me just come to the point.
Okay.
So it's just ironic. Indians seem to be the leaders of the Western world. You're talking about Rishi Sunak over here, not elected as well. If he went to the polls, just like he did not defeat Liz Truss. Okay, and then our friend Mr. Gove came into the equation, blamed, as you just said, Truss for the economic pitfalls that have incurred, and then thrust Rishi Sunak into that position of authority. Let me just make my... I don't believe you give me a fair... It requires a slight explanation.
Okay, I have to respond to what you just said. If you play back the tape and you listen to the ratio of you talk time you speak to time I speak, the assertion that I haven't given you much time, I don't think bears credibility.
I'm sure you have, but in order to formulate what is going on, because I did say at the base of the conversation that I'm going to formulate an argument. So I'm just going to quickly wrap up, because you seem to be very keen to come in.
Well, no, go on.
Yeah. So in effect, Rishi Sunak, Indian Prime Minister, who's got it, the Zionist Michael Gove, has propelled him into a position of authority.
That's the allegation.
Okay, that's the allegation. Then we've got in America currently taking place.
Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy, an Indian national again, by ethnicity, who has now come into the political fold. He's seeking recently he was interviewed by Piers Morgan, where he attended an Anglo-Republican Jewish lobby conference, in which he was seeking to get their support, and Piers Morgan was just asking him of his vitriolic support for Israel in the current scheme of things, which is what Rishi Sunak naturally is doing. So this tendency of this amalgamation of the fact that he is perhaps an incumbent American president, and who is he seeking support of? The Anglo-Jewish lobby in America. You can watch the interview. You have to obviously.
Is that not an inevitable convergence of national interest which always occurs? That whoever's in the upper echelons of America and the upper echelons of the UK naturally liaise. It makes sense.
Yes,
why wouldn't you do that?
But don't you find a common denominator in instilling certain individuals of a certain ethnicity, which is, I find it totally fascinating. And you can't summarily dismiss it, you see, by saying, and first of all, Rishi Sunak was not elected as Prime Minister of this country. He never went to the polls. Just say he goes to the polls tomorrow.
I get the...
we know for the average Englishman, the white Englishman, will not vote for him because of his colour. That is a brute fact of how things are as a reality, you see. That is why, and the evidence of that is when he faced off with Liz Truss. Liz Truss won the Tory party candidacy.
I get your thesis. Yes. I get your thesis is that there are forces in the background of a Zionist and a Hindu, it sounds like. persuasion who have disproportionate sway on the international stage. That seems to be right. Now, I can't say that you're wrong, but as I said already, any thesis which predicates on being steered through a prediction, a prophecy, I think is more likely to be skewed.
It's a Quranic narrative. It's more so than a prophecy for Muslims.
Well, it's still accurately a prophecy. It's something which says, I'm going to tell you what will happen in the future.
No, because the Quranic verse is clear. The strongest in enmity to the believers will you find the Jews, but not all Jews, the Zionist ones in particular, and the idolaters. Now we know, for example, Hinduism, for example, is a religion which is somehow infested with idolatry as well. Even though the fundamentals, the fundamentals of religion don't actually espouse multiplicity of different divinities, even in their Bhagavad Gita.
They're essentially monistic.
Yes, but however, it's been due to third-party narrative, it's been derived as becoming idolatrous. Hence, because of the third-party narrative, which has amalgamated the monotheistic theme within the.
Well, there's a long tradition of having no conflict between polytheism and monotheism anyway,
yes,
and I subscribe to that tradition. Now I know that's not the Islamic tradition, but I think that's platformed by the fact that in his conservative Islam, I believe, you think God is external to the cosmos, whereas in the Neoplatonic tradition, we think God is implicit and within it. And depending on which of those two platforms you come from, you will naturally evolve different conclusions.
Well, it depends on how you deem that understanding of the Platonic understanding, because even Plotinus had varying.
I'm not saying that there isn't a bandwidth to be discussed within that, but nonetheless, broadly, the idea is God outside or within the creation is a defining point. Yeah,
precisely. But I don't want to digress from the because I want to get to the central theme. Otherwise, our conversation could go off in a particular tangent. So far, I've seek to establish a few points, which I hope the audience will understand as well. That this now in America that's happening. That he's going to be, and people have heard it first. Vivek Ramaswamy, Indian descent. I can foresee him becoming the president. He's already gaining. He's already gaining support.
He made it.
Yes.
He made
so
it.
it's not out of nowhere.
I never said it was.
So Michael Gove is a Zionist. We've got the Zionist.
I hear you. I heard it.
So
I
you
got
can
it.
see how it's coming.
I got
together.
it, and I think
so for the average
I can see how
understanding, and probably so. Just let me 30 seconds. So the average Englishman thinking, why is our country being taken by people different Indians in particular?
Well, then I'm not the average Englishman because I honestly don't give a toss.
No, that's not you giving a toss, but that is something which is on the mind of a lot of people.
Okay.
The central positions in the government prior to the reshuffle were that James Cleverly was the Foreign Secretary, you had the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, and the Prime Minister, the three most fundamental positions, all taken by people of different ethnicities, particularly of an Indian, and Afro-Caribbean background.
My interest has always been in effectively ethics and the hard problem of consciousness and metaphysics, okay? I'm primarily interested in what is best, identifying what is best. The issue of what other people are doing and thinking is secondary to identifying what is best. I don't doubt that they're doing it, I just don't think it has significant sway when it comes to identifying the ideal. Now, I think the ideal is that I don't really give a damn what colour or ethnicity the leader of this country or the other country is. My primary concern is that they're good at their job, and by good at their job, I mean that they're fair-minded, they're honest, they have integrity, and they try and treat people with equality and respect.
I'm sure there are many politicians out there who can match or even surpass the criteria of the current incumbents.
Now, I don't discount the possibility that a Hindu might well achieve that, or an atheist might achieve it, or a Muslim, or a Christian. I'll look at the individual in question.
No, but what I'm trying to say to you, because you said you've given that level of aptitude to, for example, a person of a particular ilk, which is noble of you, but at the same juncture, there are many individuals who can similarly do a job far more better, shall we say, than the present incumbents. So,
why isn't that the natural fallout of a democratic process, which is going to end up with a profoundly flawed result, because you're taking a consensus of 60 million people's, 40 million people's opinion, a lot of whom aren't very well informed, a lot of whom they haven't grasped the intricacies of politics, and why would they? It's a very difficult process, and you've ended up to an extent with the lowest common denominator candidate. Actually, I don't think that's fair to Sunak, and I'm not a Tory. You end up, politicians get a hard rap. It's got to be a tough job.
Yeah, I haven't shown what the intricacies of the actual politicians' day-to-day activity. I'm just trying to show that in our conversation, which is how I started it, was that there seems to be this is not a conspiracy, it's grounded in eschatology, because these events occurring as well, Muslims are of the opinion this is also grounded in eschatology. Because
Sorry, what does eschatology mean?
the future stuff, the future events to occur. So Muslims and if you just let me finish.
Yeah.
Muslims and Christians, you said your partner is Jewish. Now Muslims and Christians
Yeah.
make up half the world's population. They believe in the second return of Christ, which you may or may not have been aware.
I don't believe in that.
You don't believe, fair enough, but half the world's population does believe in it.
No, that's not true.
Well, it's true. Christians,
Well,
Muslims
half the world population, you're saying half the world's population are Christian?
and Muslims, yes.
Oh, sorry, and the Muslims believe in the second coming of Christ
Yeah,
as
that's what I
well.
just mentioned to you, yes.
Wow, didn't know that. Sorry, there you go. There's lots of
There
stuff
you
I don't
go.
know, and you don't
Yes.
pretend you know something you don't know.
You don't know. See, this is why.
Why do you need the second coming of Christ? He's just another prophet and he's trumped by Muhammad in your line. So why does he have to come
Yeah,
back?
he'll still come and then rectify that which was claimed for him, that which he did not claim. I mean, Christians augmented an understanding of his divinity when he was no divine figure, and he didn't. And you probably go to speak, you observe the interaction takes place.
Well, there's a spectrum of Christianity. Not all Christians believe the same thing either.
Correct. But if we were to take the majority view, that they would subscribe to some form.
The conservative view definitely would be along those lines, yeah.
Well, no, not necessarily, because here in the UK, that is the predominant understanding from the church.
That's what I mean by the conservative view.
Pardon?
That's what I mean by the conservative view.
Yeah.
If you went to the less conservative view, a number of people like Don Cupid, they don't even literally believe in the resurrection. Now I'm far closer to that end of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's fine. And we don't believe in the resurrection either, because we believe initially he wasn't
Yeah, but
killed.
you don't believe he wasn't crucified.
Correct. But what we do say, this is where the Islam is the balancing factor, you see. The Jews reject him.
Hello.
The Jews
Cheers,
reject
how are
him
you?
summarily.
What?
Sorry, we're sending
Poppy.
Yeah, I thought let's have all the symbols out there and show they can coexist. And for
Impossible, mate. Impossible.
yeah, and I should tell it to the couch, seeing as you're filming this.
So we're in the film,
Just seeing we're being filmed. The second March I've worn this, I have had no problems from anybody. Okay, I've watched GB News go out on these marches and make out they're getting hassled and abused, and they weren't wearing this. Okay, I'm wearing this for a two-state solution. So for the record, everybody's been very nice and courteous, and we've had good discussions.
Okay, good.
Sorry, Karen.
Yeah. We do want to actually continue with the march, but let me just say, and I want you to have a few words because you do seem to think I seem to have dominated this conversation. But
I think in terms of time,
yeah,
I think
sure.
if you play it back, you'll discover that's the
Sure.
case.
But
Yeah.
what essentially we're trying to say that all these events that are occurring, the Islamic and Christian perspective on the return of Christ is fundamental to both faiths. However, we believe that the understanding of who he really was when he does return, and like a certain setting is being done before he comes.
I see how it all plays out with the eschatological perspective.
Yeah, which I haven't really elaborated either yet, but
because I don't subscribe to eschatology.
Yes.
Because I think that it is in conflict. Because I said I'm primarily interested in ethics and metaphysics and self-consistency, and the idea that the future is preordained seems contradictory to the notion of free will. And free will seems to be pivotal in ethical choice, and it seems to be what God judges us on, and therefore the two can't stand together. And if one's got to go, I'll get rid of the prophecy thing and I'll maintain ethical integrity of my choices and yours in the eye of God. I can't square that circle. I know you guys, a number of you are compatibilists. I don't find compatibilism to be a convincing position. Okay, so therefore I don't really I don't give great weight to eschatology.
That's fine, I understand that.
Yeah?
I'm just trying to give you a perspective because this is where the discussion initially was from.
Okay.
I recognise you from some conversations at Speaker's Corner. I just thought I'd add this to you. That
get it.
It's very clear from my perspective, not just based upon a pre-assumption either.
Yeah.
And this is that what is occurring is a result of an evidence of a greater for us, and what has been told will ensue is now actually in fruition. So those types of
For what it's worth, I just think that pattern of thought has been acted out, I think, historically again and again, and it's very seldom borne positive fruit, okay? I think even if you're correct and this is the fulfillment of a prophecy, nonetheless, to strategize the arguments within the framework of the secular political framework that's occurring now will heighten the accuracy of the thing and be more persuasive to other people.
Sure. I mean, a gentleman you may be familiar with, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying it, Paul Williams from Blogging Theology,
Yeah.
who attends
Yeah.
Speaker's Corner.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been speaking about these issues for a long time without any real credence being given because I don't have a platform.
Yeah.
However, what I did note of quite out of interest, he recently had a PhD student who's a Swedish convert to Islam, who spoke about the influence of the occult
Yeah.
in Western civilization, meaning to say that there have been these entities which have been, basically speaking, I don't want to be rambling, it's a lot of satanic activities take place within these governments.
Again, you're talking to the wrong guy.
I know.
I mean, seriously. Look, and also I'm a fan of Kabbalism, and Kabbalism is the root of Western occultism, right? So it's not like I'm unfamiliar with those theories.
Yeah.
And again, I don't take them literally. I think Kabbalism also is over-literalizing metaphorical and psychological and metaphysical truths. So I don't believe in magic. I don't believe I'm living in the magical universe of Harry Potter. Okay, maybe I'm living in the magical universe of Harry Potter, but there is zero empirical evidence to support that idea. There's a lot of anecdotal evidence, huge amount of anecdotal evidence, but there's no empirical evidence at all. And empiricism to me trumps anecdotal, and the inferential evidence that I'm living in the magical universe of Harry Potter is conflicted at best. I mean, you can create arguments, and you've got the cosmological argument, and you've got the contingency argument, which seems to me to an extent to be the final retreat position of that kind of intellectual solipsism, yeah? Not that it hasn't got some merits. To breaking the world down into what is inevitable and what is contingent, I think is a really important lens. So both of the contingency argument and the cosmological argument are both necessary stepping stones, intellectual stepping stones. They ask good questions, but as you start to address them in the light of modern science, I think you can move even further, progress it further, and they're still being hung on to. And as Muhammad Hijab has said, even if you do with the contingency argument, even if you do buy that it persuades that there is a God, a creator, all that does is transfer you from atheism to theism. It doesn't identify which of the many religions has the advantage. It's just a stepping stone from there to there. Now, I know he says this because I've got in my file, I can show you where he says it. Now, maybe he's entitled to change his mind. I don't think I've quoted him out of context, and it's not that he's God, but...
So just say you accept that latter surmisation in regards to his conclusions. Hence, what we would say as theists, and we've already discussed this nominally within our conversation, is all the world's religions, bar none, actually do give you some sort of formality of one singular creator. But what we say, which is what Muslims confidently assert, is that the Quran claims to be a verbatim word of God, you see. Whereas the other world scriptures have elements of truth which are consistent with the monotheistic theme. However, they are prevaricated then by the fact that these third-party narratives then delve into the text, and hence the Islamic claim these texts have been corrupted because they come from multiplicity of sources, can be evidential.
I understand that. I think the major, if you accept that the contingency argument, etc., is only there to line up all the world's religions in a sort of at the starting line of a race when you're then going to argue your merits, the main merit that the Quran, the Muslims seem to make, is that they're the last of them. So they're the full stop on the whole story, and they've got integrity and continuity of text in a way other religions don't, yeah? Now, I'm happy to accept continuity of text. Hypothetically, to me, it's not a big issue, right? Simultaneously, I go, okay, but with regard to I'm a universalist, so I see merit in all religions, including Islam. But then I'd immediately go, okay, we're all at the starting gate. We don't need to worry about the contingency argument or the cosmological argument. They've done their job. Now you're banging your head against evolution. Instantly, of all the world's religions, although you're going, we've copied our text totally accurately, if the flat earth, for example, flat earthers, if they for 1,000 years copy their text accurately, it won't make it any truer, it will just mean they had continuity of text. You, more than most religions, conservative Islam seems to be banging its head against the scientific community. Now maybe you're right, and maybe they're wrong, but as someone who's values self-consistency and empirical data, I am not positioned to go, all of those Nobel Prize winning scientists in the National Association of Science, who have all said that evolution is effectively a fact as far as they're concerned, are 100% wrong. I'm just not equipped to. And anybody who comes to me, even if they've got a degree in those sciences, and says they're 100% sure that many Nobel Prize winners are wrong, I have to think, you've got to have a bit of doubt. And if you haven't got any doubt at all, maybe you're being a bit disingenuous and you're not being honest. And if you do have doubt, then you've opened the door to a whole problem, because you have to believe doubt is that doubt? No. Is considered a negative. But on the other hand, I'm looking at the Quran, Surah 2, verse 242. I think says, I hand you these things so you use your reason. Yeah? which then seems to stand potentially in contradiction with pretty much the opening of Surah 3, which then goes, be careful, there'll be people coming along trying to twist interpretations. I can't.
How is that a contradiction?
Well, potentially. So if someone like me comes along, I can be accused of being someone who's trying to twist your interpretations. Now, I'm sure that's not my motive, but nonetheless, you could throw that accusation at me. I would counter-argue Surah 2, verse 242. I'm trying to use reason. Yeah, I need to be consistent to reason. And in using reason, I'm constantly scanning for contradictions. As you guys often say, you can't have a square circle, you can't have a married bachelor. I'm scanning any text, whatever it is, and going.
There's a contradiction. If we just summarise the contradiction.
Yeah, when the contradiction in that, well, it's not a full-blown contradiction. It's a potential.
I thought you said it was a contradiction.
Well, it's a potential area of how you interpret somebody who goes, I'm trying to be reasonable. Yeah, according to Surah 2, verse 242. And I will hear counter-arguments which go, no, Surah 3 quickly makes clear that there will be people who will try and deceive my interpretation. So I might face that counter-argument. And squaring that circle...
I can't see for the life of me how that is deemed a contradiction. All this is in effect saying from what verse you think you're trying to quote is that there are those who will try to lead you astray by changing the text.
So when I use reason to argue that banging one's head against evolution with 100% certainty seems to be a disproportionate, a slightly dishonest epistemology. Yeah? Either you can go with the logic of that position. It doesn't mean I'm right. Maybe evolution's wrong and maybe you're right. But either you can go with the logic of my position, and if you don't, what's your counter-argument? And I think your counter-argument from the Quran would be that I am trying to warp your perspective of a holy text, which is not my intent.
I mean, as far as evolution is concerned, there are prevailing different theories, but evolution doesn't summarily seek to highlight the metaphysical. It can only, as you say, try to understand empiricism to a certain extent. However, we're dealing with the matters of the empirical, which, as you're probably aware of the various arguments. So, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the contingency argument or the necessary points. But
well, thanks for it. Maybe I'm not. Maybe we haven't discussed it. Maybe I'm useless. I'm under the illusion I've got a bit of a grasp, but maybe I haven't.
You know, actually, is because we were wanting to actually.
I know we should go on the. I didn't know we were going to do this. We were both just going to go on a march.
We came over here and I've been on nearly every one of these marches, but never actually reached the destination. It had to be sent back afterwards. But although we've been.
Well, I've actually got to go to another meetup group and then maybe later. So I'm late already. So maybe. But look, it was.
Delighted speaking to you. Then.
Delighted speaking to you. I'll see you down speakers probably tomorrow.
Probably not me, but yeah, maybe more than likely Sam will be.
Some people down there.
Indeed.
All right.
Have a great evening.
Good luck with it. Don't worry too much about the Hindus. Oh, hang on. You want that?
They're very nice.
That always happens.
Super. Good man. Thank you so much. Super. Good. Have a good day.
Is anyone
It's a very pleasant conversation.
Sorry, we didn't know that was.
It's a very pleasant conversation with our